You're listening to the Strike the Balance podcast, where healthcare e-learning is done right. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of AI avatars and exploring some of the most powerful tools available right now. As digital education continues to evolve, AI avatars are opening up exciting new possibilities for engagement, personalization, and accessibility in healthcare training. So let's strike the balance between innovation and effectiveness as we explore the best AI avatar tools for healthcare education.
You know, this is a really interesting space. I think we've all seen the videos of a person that's not a person, Uncanny Valley. Sometimes they are a person, sometimes they're not. We're just going to kind of go over a few of the tools that seem to be the best in this space because there's a lot of good ones, there's a lot of bad ones. They have their pros, they have their cons, and we'll get right into it. So first, Synthesia. This is one that's kind of has a lot of video editing capabilities online, which is nice that you don't have to pay for a whole expensive license for Premiere or one of the big video editing softwares. You have a lot of capabilities in there. Synthesia's been around for quite a bit, but they also have AI avatars, which is great. Personally, I've seen when it comes to just text-based prompting, so you just give it a script, you select an avatar, and it spits it out. Those, I'm sure they're getting better. Those are not the best to me. You can definitely tell they're not real. There's just not a lot of emotion. But where Synthesia does shine is that you can take a video of yourself saying that script and it'll track your facial movements. So if you're very expressive in the way you're talking, or even if you're not, it's going to be more expressive than, AI is just trying to figure out. But already figuring out the inflection of words is one thing, but then figuring out all these different facial movements that are associated with different inflections of words and parts of the sentences, that's tough. Mm-hmm. And I think eventually it'll get there, but it's not quite there. But that's one place with Synthesia that is really awesome. And, there's so many benefits of being able to, put that expression onto an AI avatar because then it's not you, or you can be in a different setting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and kind of thinking about kind of some of the stuff that we do, especially when it comes to edits. If there's like a word that's messed up or you need to go back and change like a simple sentence, being able to like have your edit or have your actor put in to one of these softwares where they can map your face and track it and then have that AI kind of switch what your words are or what your mouth is moving so it actually fits the words that you're trying to say can actually be really helpful. Also, 120 languages is amazing. We do a lot of work with translations, and that can always be a pain to go through all the languages. So being able to easily do 120 languages is definitely a standout for this one.
Then another cool part too is with like on-screen graphics. Like a lot of times, like research can change, and if like everything stays the same, kind of like with what the actor's saying, and you just need to kind of change some numbers and stuff on the on-screen graphics, these tools can let you go in there and you can actually edit those really easily. You could put a new graphic over it, and you can just have real quick and easy solutions if something changes and you need to spin something up real quick.
For sure. And then Synthesia, price-wise, is pretty generous. You can even be on the free plan and still have an avatar, and then I think it's about $30 a month, and you can have, a lot more. You have all the language capabilities, you have more avatars, a lot more customization. And then I think their most expensive plan is $60-$70 a month, depending if you're doing annual or monthly. But still not that bad. I mean, that's comparable to any big video editing software. And like I said, it is kind of a whole suite within there. You can do graphics, the translations, your AI avatar, and also just general video editing of cutting clips together, even dropping a B-roll clip in there or adding images. For anyone that's used Canva, it's very similar interface-wise to Canva, but for video, which is great. But the one thing in there, which I'm sure, again, all of these tools are getting better every day, the language functionality is good, but the next one we'll talk about, HeyGen. HeyGen is crazy when it comes to the lip dubbing, not only with the initial inflections, or if you give text, if you just give text and select an avatar, it's pretty good at the inflections and the way it sounds, just looking a little more real. But if you give it a video of you or whoever saying whatever string of words, bunch of sentences, words, I speak English, it can translate that into another language, and it sounds like that person's voice. It sounds correct. It doesn't sound like a person who doesn't know that language speaking it. It sounds like they know that language. So they not only are taking the transcript of your words, translating it into that language, regenerating the audio, and then reconnecting the lip movements to make it look like they're saying that, which is just insane. I did it to a video of myself some time ago, and it's just bizarre to look at because it really looks like you're speaking this other language that I don't even know, which is very interesting. And there's a lot of, uses for that.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the underlooked things in digital education is when you're going into your content and changing that into another language. Yes, you got the subtitles, so that reaches everybody you're trying to reach. But at the same time, you can clearly see that the mouth is not matching it, which I think might have a little bit of a disconnect for your learner. They might not be as invested as much. So being able to make it seamless, completely like you're speaking the language if you've known it your whole life, can, I think, really help your learners and make them more engaged with the content they're watching or seeing.
Yeah, for sure. And price-wise, it's pretty comparable to Synthesia. I think they have a free plan, and then they have, $20-$30 a month plan, and then a $60-$70 a month plan. And I will say with, HeyGen, they don't have quite as much video editing capabilities. Like, it's not a whole suite of video editing within there like it is with Synthesia, but their AI generation and their avatars, and they even have voice cloning, is really solid. And so I think if you're coming at it from, you have content, but you're trying to make it to another language or things like that, that's
where it would
HeyGen
shine.
is really going to shine for you.
Completely agree.
Yeah. And another platform that's pretty similar to HeyGen is Elay.io. I think I'm saying that right. That's actually a part of Panopto now, but it's very similar to HeyGen in that you have your multilingual text to speech, and it's a pretty simple interface. You don't have quite as much video customization or video editing like you do with Synthesia, but it's just another option from HeyGen.
Yeah, it's very easy text to speech kind of stuff. So again, like Nolan was saying, not really involved in the video production side, but if you're a teacher or an educator with a classroom where you just need to make some easy content into a video with a speaker, I think this is definitely an easy way to go, especially with a free plan that's included, which is always nice.
Yeah, I agree with you both really on this. My favorite part about it is just like you can't do a lot with it, so you can't get like really customized content, but you can make pretty solid content very quickly and efficiently with it. And that's why I think it's like perfect for like teachers or people educating kind of people on a budget and kind of a smaller time frame. Its interface is just super simple to learn and use, and you can really chop up videos and make really good things really quickly with it.
Yeah, for sure. The next one, Tavus, is kind of similar to HeyGen. I will say with the three we've talked about, Synthesia, HeyGen, and Elay.io, I'm sure they will eventually, and hopefully they don't already at the time we're recording this. I don't think that their custom avatar generation is as solid if they have it at all. I know that HeyGen has a version of it. I mean, obviously they can do the lip syncing, so they're, adjusting your video, but it's not that if you upload a video of you talking, it's going to save that avatar and you can just change the words entirely. I guess you can, but it's not quite like that. Versus Tavus is their custom avatar generation is really solid. So that's basically you can kind of make your own avatar, record a video of you talking in a nice place, nice setting, nice lighting, nice sound once. And then from then going forward, it's going to mimic how you look, mimic your likeness, the way you talk. And you can just give it, text saying this is the script, and it's going to re-record it, which just is great for people who either A, aren't able to record in that same setting all the time, or B, they just don't want to because that's a whole hassle of getting out the camera, getting out the lights, getting out the microphone, doing that each time. So instead, you can just do it once, and then all of a sudden you have this avatar that you can rely on to, make a video every day if you want.
Yeah, it really just opens you up to, again, utilize more video content in your teaching, however that may be. Definitely a great place for an opening area. I'd like to see where they go with it, because being able to basically just upload, again, it's basically deep faking yourself, right? You give a uploaded image or video of you, and then you can kind of mess with that from words, how you sound, lip movement. So again, interested to see where it goes. Definitely a great place to start with, though.
For sure. I would say the only limitation of Tavus is it's definitely the most expensive of these four. I think they do have a free plan, but their next plan that's not free, which obviously their free plan, it's limited on the amount of stuff you can generate kind of on that credit system in a way. I think it's minute based. But that next plan is $60 a month, which again isn't super, super expensive. It's still comparable to video editing, like full video editing software suites, but for just the purpose that we just described, which again, if you're using it all the time, such as you're an educator that's recording videos, you want to send out to your learners on a regular basis, that can be very much worth it because it's saving you all the time and hassle of getting out that camera and whatever every single time. But it is, just to note, a little bit more expensive.
Yeah. I think, again, the barrier to entry that we've talked about a lot in these episodes just really allows people that aren't production savvy or just don't have the time or the equipment can really just focus on getting one good shot and then let it take over for all their other lessons.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last one we'll talk about, Veed.io. Just a note on all of these. Myself, I use Adobe. We use Adobe on our team, and every now and then we'll check out these tools and use them for a very specific purpose. So there's a good chance that there are some features they're not talking about or features that are coming out. So we're kind of touching on what I'm familiar with and also just general consensus of doing research on these. But for example, with Veed.io, it's probably most similar to Synthesia in that you have kind of a whole video editing suite there. It's pretty similar if you've ever been in Premiere or any kind of video editing timeline. It's set up like a timeline that you can add this video and then another video on top, and it's kind of layer based. And then on top of that, they have the AI functionality within there. The one, I know that they have the AI talking heads and they have all of that. The one thing I've seen in Veed.io that is really cool and that we've used before is, I forget what they call it within their platform, but it's basically, it makes you have eye contact with the camera, which this happens sometimes if you're reading with the teleprompter, or if you're looking, if you're at a webcam and you're looking at your computer screen but your webcam's above. It's a little off sometimes. We've all seen videos or been on calls where someone's clearly not looking at the camera, whether they're reading something or not. And obviously that's a really big thing for engagement, is that a person watching a video feels like the person they're watching is looking at them. And Veed.io does have that. It's pretty crazy just to watch it, because you put in this video of someone looking fully away from the camera, and then it spits out a version of that video that they're staring at the camera the whole time, which is kind of crazy. But that's one specific tool within Veed that I've used that is pretty great. But on top of that, like I said, they have the text-to-speech, they have the AI avatars, and they have the whole video editing suite. So it's another good option.
Yeah, I'd like to see if Veed has a possibly a plugin for Zoom or WebEx or any of the meetings we get on, because every time everyone is always just looking at their computer, so it'd be interesting to see a way for everyone to actually be looking at the other people that they're conversing with. But yeah, we do some remote records a lot of the time for some of our programs, and it definitely helps out where somebody doesn't need to prepare too much about what they're going to say. They can clearly just read off their computer, and then Veed goes ahead and gives us that eye contact that we're looking for, which is always nice.
Then I really like Veed because I think it has the widest range of kind of tools that are real solid to use. That's why it's like my personal favorite out of this batch. I think they're kind of doing some of the most cool and kind of unique thing in the kind of sense of AI with video, with it kind of like fixing the eyes and stuff. They're kind of the first one I've seen doing that, and I think that's really cool what they're doing, and excited to what else they can come out with their suite of products.
Yeah, for sure. Also for price point, I think that they don't really have a free model, but they're two that they have like the first plan and the second plan, the light, and then a little bit more. It's like $15 a month and then $30 a month or something like that. So it's pretty approachable price wise, especially considering the amount of functionality you're getting. Veed could really realistically be your, all-in-one platform for video editing. That I think out of these five, Synthesia and Veed are the two that could realistically be your own, like your only video editing software if you're just making, pretty straightforward videos. But like I said, both of those you can still add in graphics. You have all the AI functionality that's continuing to improve, and price wise, they're not going to break the bank. And then big thing being that they're also more approachable, to purchase Final Cut or to purchase Premiere Pro or start those subscriptions. They're going to be probably a little bit more expensive and also a lot more of a learning curve, which obviously you can do more within those platforms. But with that said, within Premiere, maybe there's third-party plugins that you can do this with, but there's nothing natively within Premiere that allows you to do the eye contact correction. And then the AI text to speech or text to avatar speaking, that's not something that's inherently within Premiere or Final Cut. So, there's pros and cons to all the different ways that you can develop videos, which is great for in the education space. It just makes it more lower barrier to entry and, just more realistic for people. And as we've seen, video is more effective generally in grabbing people's attention and keeping them engaged than something that's fully text-based or fully audio-based.
Yeah, I definitely see it as a way, especially in the coming months probably, where some of these bigger video editing softwares like Premiere, Final Cut will probably integrate some of these AI technologies into it because they make so much sense, and just having to take a video out of Premiere Pro, out of Final Cut, into wherever you're editing at, and then put it into one of these softwares, it just adds extra steps. And I definitely think that they will eventually incorporate these into it, and I don't think it's that far off.
For sure. So to kind of recap, the 5 we've talked about were Synthesia, Elay.io, V.io, HeyGen, and Tavus. These are definitely not the only 5 out there. These are just the 5 that we've used, that we've checked out. And specifically with the AI avatars, that all 5 of these tools have that functionality, and that's kind of was the basis of this video. I realized we went off in tangents to talking about video as well, but largely whenever people are making videos, especially in the education space, it's a person looking at the camera talking, whether you have graphics or other things on the screen, but it's not making a Hollywood movie or anything. It's just another format of relaying information and education to learners. So the talking head videos are really relevant in that space. That's why we focused on that.
Yeah, all these tools I see as like just ways to enhance your kind of content education in small ways. Again, the eye contact, making your mouth match the languages you go with. I definitely think there is some good video editing tools in them, but I just like to see them grow more and see where their AI can actually go based on the space it's at right now.
For sure. I want to thank you for tuning in. We talked about AI avatars. Tune in next week. We'll be talking about something else in the digital education space.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.